Okay, hello everyone. Today we are here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 at Victor November Charlie, Venice Municipal in Florida. We have a 59 nautical mile flight to Papa Charlie Mike, Plant City. Plant City is a payware airport by VerticalSim Studios. I'm sure you'll recognize VerticalSim if you've flown an X-plane, since he's made many payware and freeware airports, and I was really excited to see one of his airports here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We are in the Cessna 172 Skyhawk with a 1956 Cessna Skyhawk livery, which I will put the link for that you can download, and it is fantastic. I really love this livery and the character that it gives to the aircraft. So let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Okay, we'll run through our startup checklist, and while we do, we'll cover the flight brief. So we are taking off from Venice Municipal. It is an untowered airport south of Sarasota, which is a Class Charlie airport. We're going to fly to two GPS waypoints, since we do have a GPS in the Cessna Skyhawk. That's Murdo and Lifey. When flying to GPS waypoints, they're usually intersections or along a radial from a VOR, so it's helpful to identify which VORs those are and also dial them in. So we're going to set up those two VORs, which is St. Petersburg, which is north near Tampa, and Lakeland, which is east of Plant City. So those are generating the intersections. To the south of us, we have Punta Gorda VOR, which is near Coral Creek, where I did my last flight. So we will have all three of those set up, and of course Sarasota, right to the north, also has a VOR. So 4 nav aids to use in addition to our GPS. Never know if you're going to lose your GPS, so it's nice to have a plan to use your radios if you do. Plant City is located underneath the Bravo airspace that surrounds Tampa. The outer shelf of the Bravo that we'll be flying underneath first has a starting ceiling of 6,000. That's easy enough to fly under. But the shelf where Plant City is located has a shelf of 3,000. So we can't get around needing to be underneath or in the 3,000 shelf. And I could fly at 2,500 to avoid the Bravo entirely, but I'd rather just request a Bravo transition and fly at 5,500 for the duration of the flight. So we'll request that. If for some reason we're told to stay clear of the Bravo, then we will descend to 2,500 and fly underneath it. We'll be streaming live ATC from live ATC net. KTPA does not have a live ATC channel on live ATC net, which is unfortunate, but instead we'll be using the Miami Center channel, so we can get some authentic ATC chatter in the background. If we had a controller here on VATSIM, for instance, then I would be requesting flight following for this flight, and of course talking to Tampa Approach to get the Class Bravo transition request in. In this case, there is no controller on VATSIM for KTPA at this time, so I'm just going to use Microsoft Flight Simulator's in-game ATC. When I fly, I like to fly with live traffic turned on, because I think it really adds a lot to it, knowing that other players are flying along with you. And if you're going to fly in a Bravo with live traffic, you should be talking to someone so that you're not creating a mess for everybody else who's flying around. So we'll use the in-game ATC, which actually isn't too bad. And I really like it personally that we've got all these options. You can talk to VATSIM, you can use in-game ATC, or you could just stream live ATC in the background to give yourself a little bit of flavor for ATC while flying. Venice traffic, November 359 Golf Charlie, taxi, runway 28, Venice. This entire area is rendered in 3D photogrammetry, so it should look spectacular. I think flying along the coast in Florida so far, everywhere I've encountered has been 3D photogrammetry. Okay, we're holding short runway 28. We'll go through our run-up. The Cessna 172 does have a pretty good checklist for a run-up. I'd personally love to see something like the reality expansion packs that are available for X-Plane that really get you into the nitty-gritty details for doing a full walk-around and run-up. But for now, this is pretty good. I like it. Venice traffic, Cessna 359 Golf Charlie, departing runway 28, straight out departure, climbing 5,500, Venice.
Flight level 270, work for you.
570, yes sir, but that maintains level 270 if that's where you're
Okay, so if you look straight ahead at those trees, you can see they look more like Stonehenge statues than trees. That's a quirk of the 3D photogrammetry. Kind of depends on where you're at, but trees in particular sometimes get these odd elevations and jet up out of the ground. Maybe they'll sort it out as they go along, but other than some of those glitches, you know, I like the 3D photogrammetry. Looks great in the air and just looks photorealistic. I do notice that the Cessna handles a lot better since the last patch. Here it was super smooth taking off, and it was much easier to stay on center line when taxiing and doing the rollout here on the runway.
135.92.
And that just looks fantastic.
We'll be done in about 5-10 minutes.
Venice traffic, Cessna 359 Golf Charlie, 3 miles north, departing to the northeast. Final call, Venice. Okay, we'll get turned on to our initial heading as we continue our climb, so let's sit back and enjoy some of that awesome scenery. Alright, that was a lot of fun. How about this livery? I love it. I love vintage aircraft and vintage liveries, and the artist did a fantastic job on it, so be sure to check out the details for the video so that you can go there and download it for yourself and enjoy it. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave me a comment. So, as always, thanks a lot for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.